So, hi sir, here's my explanation for assignment number 5, and I'm going to explain number 1 and number 3. So, first for number 1, the strings here are just strings that have equal number of ABC. So, the idea here is that it's just the Turing machine just marks the AB the ABBC with X, Y, and Z. So again, for example, this string AABBC, it will just mark the A's with X, the B's with Y, and the C's with Z, and then the pattern repeats. So what happens here is based from this transition table. Here these are the states, and the state QA will be responsible for marking the A's with X, and then over here QB will be responsible for marking the B's with Y, and then QC will be responsible for marking the C's with Z. And then after they are marked, the state QC will be responsible for going back to the recent X and then start the pattern all over again. So for now, I'm going to explain step-by-step explanation for how this input was accepted by the Turing machine. So first, the current symbol is A, so it will go to state QA, and then it will mark it with X, and then after that, since it's in state QB, and then it will just find for another B, since the current symbol here is A, it will just ignore and then go to the right, and then now it's on B, since it's state QB. Now it found a B, and then it will now mark it with Y, and then after that it will go to QC, and then in QC is looking for the symbol C, and then just ignore other symbols. And then once it's now in QC, it will mark it with Z, and now everything is marked accordingly. X has a corresponding Y and Z, and now it will go to QX, and then it will go back. It will try to find the recent X, so it will go back to now it found the recent X. Now it will just move to the right and go through the state QA, and then the pattern repeats, and then it will go on until everything is marked. And now once everything is marked, it will now go to state QE. I mean, it will first still go to QX to go back to the recent X, and then once that is done, it will now go to the state QE, and then it will now go to the final state. And now I'm going to explain number 3. So for number 3, the strings here can be thought of as if the Turing machine just checks if both sides of the string just mirror each other or are just both equal. So the Turing machine checks it in this kind of pattern. As can be seen, the idea in number 3 is that First, the Turing machine reads the symbol and then marks it with either X for the right side or Y for the left side. So first, over here in the transition table, here we can see state Q0 responsible for the right movement, where it will mark the right side with X. First, if it sees A or B on the right side, it will just mark it with X. And then after it sees that symbol and marked it with X, it will just go to these states where these states are responsible for moving the Turing machine head to the empty symbol at the last part of the string. And then once it has gotten to the last part of the string, the Turing machine will move leftward and then mark the symbols with Y, as to mark it with Y to represent the left symbol and check if it is equal to the right side. And once the right side is marked, it will go to the state QX, where it will just go back and find the recent X. Then once it finds the recent X, it will just go back to state Q0 and then start the pattern all over again. So now I'm going to try and explain the steps step by step. So first, the example string here is AABBAA. So first, it has the symbol A, so it will just mark it with X, and then it will go to state QEA, and then once it's in QEA, it will just ignore other symbols until it reaches the last part, the empty cell tape. And then once it reaches the last part, it will just go back and then mark the symbol with Y. And then once the symbol is marked with Y, it will now go back to find the recent X, as it is in state QX. So it will just ignore other strings until it finds the recent X. Then once it finds the recent X, the pattern will just repeat itself. And then now it's in state Q0. Then it finds the symbol A, and then same thing happens. It will just go to state QEA to go to the last part, and then once it's in the last part, it will just go back leftward. Then it will check the left side, and then once it finds the associated symbol, it will just mark it with Y, and then now it will go back to QX, and then once it finds the recent X, it will just repeat the pattern, and now it's on the symbol B. Now it marks it with X and then goes to the last part of the string, then goes leftward once it reaches the last part, and then it finds the associated mirror, and then it will mark it with Y. And then once it's all marked, it's the Turing machine will now go to state QE and then go to the final state, and then the input will be accepted.